Hey, it's James, Parents' Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. Remember to click the link in my bio and check my flow page. Every one of you fathers and a lot of you mothers should check out the links in there that talk about scientific evidence that kids need both parents, how well kids do when fathers are in the home full time. Not just those statistics about absent fathers aren't about fathers abandoning their kids. It's about fathers not being in the home full time. Kids are automatically at risk for suffering all kinds of problems, exponentially at risk when the father's not in the home full time. Excuse me. So check that link. And also, I'm going to talk about arguing about guardian ad litems. If you go to that link, you'll see my store. There's a packet on defending against the guardian ad litem reports or responding them. There's a couple samples of, about 20, 30 pages long about attacking a guardian ad litem's report and picking them off. And especially if you're in Washington State, I got a bunch of case law on guardian ad litems. Some of those things, I would use in a different state also. And it kind of gives you an idea how to structure stuff. Oh, also, something that's new in the link, I probably should do a separate video, but in my flow page, there's a link to a search engine for looking for case law if you don't have a search engine that you use already. So if you don't know how to look up case law, I may have to do a video on that. I think I've done one quickie one before. Maybe it's on TikTok. Anyway, if you don't know everything you need to know, you need to consult with me. Now to this guardian ad litem. If you Google Judge Michael Hecht, Hecht, I'll spell out his name in the description. If you cite Michael Hecht, Judge Michael Hecht was an attorney in Tacoma, Washington, and he was a guardian ad litem for a while. Then he ran for judge and won, but then he was prosecuted for soliciting underage male prostitutes in the area and then taking them to his law office and paying them for sex, and then threatening some of them and using racial slurs. That was part of the Judicial Review Board or the Bar Association. There's an article and information about that. But if you Google him, you can look at all the articles. My main point in doing that is, if you had an attorney you dealt with a guardian ad litem, it's likely that your attorney said, "Oh, don't criticize the guardian ad litem. Oh, don't talk bad about them. Oh, we need to appease the guardian ad litem." The guardian ad litem is not the judge. Your attorney's a stupid jackass. In criminal court, what do you have a right to do? You have a right to confront what? Your accusers. You have a right to confront them. See, we use all these agitating, aggressive, competitive, fighting words for family court. Opposing attorney, oral argument, prevailing party, somebody wins. You get to impeach a witness, destroy their credibility. These are all attacking words. And your stupid jackass attorney is saying, don't attack the guardian ad litem, and the guardian ad litem's lying about you? Why would you not want to confront them? I talked to somebody this weekend, and they said their attorney did not want to depose the guardian ad litem because we'll just get them at court. First of all, you stupid jackass, you can't do basic second grade math. If you do a deposition, you get to grill the guardian ad litem for hours. At a motion hearing, in this particular case, the guy and his attorney get 5 minutes to argue. The opposing attorney says something, maybe the guardian ad litem says something, and then your attorney gets to say something for 5 minutes. How does that expose the guardian ad litem? These people are such punk, sissy cowards. They don't want to confront the guardian ad litem. They don't want to do their job. They're making $200, $300, $400 an hour. Now, I picked guardian ad litems apart. If you look at my flow page, the link up in the bio, or this is on YouTube, below this video in the comment section, or in the caption, or description, whatever you want to call it, you can look at my winning orders. Look at my parenting plan that gave me custody in 2001. It's my signature representing myself, my baby's mom, her attorney signed off on her behalf. There's a signature spot for her. Her attorney with 17 years experience, and the guardian ad litem. I was outnumbered 3-1. Then there's a transcript of a hearing, I believe, where I destroyed a guardian ad litem's report and I picked it apart. Now, there was a short period of time where I got an attorney because I was afraid to go to trial back in 2003, but 2003, 2004. But now I know better. I've had countless guys go and women do their own trials and do just fine, and prevail and make the other side look stupid. But, there's my winning contempt. There's the mother, her attorney, and the guardian ad litem signature. The guardian ad litem recommended against the mother being found in contempt. I won contempt. So I've destroyed guardian ad litems. How many guardian ad litems does your attorney destroy? Your attorney is saying don't even attempt to attack the guardian ad litem. The guardian ad litem is opposition. They're a hostile witness against you. They're a liar. What do you do in court when somebody lies as a witness? You confront them. You impeach them. You destroy their credibility. What the hell is your attorney doing? It's insane. And it's insane how much you guys tolerate this stuff. So, while your attorney is bowing down and worshiping and kissing the gluteus maximus of the guardian ad litem as if they're their Lord and Savior, or they're the judge on the case, or they have power like a judge. See, there's just this culture of just appeasing. It's insane. This is nerve-wracking because this is basic, plain, third grade level common sense. The guardian ad litem is attacking you, lying about you. You attack the guardian ad litem. Your attorney says, oh, let's not do that. And then you know in your conscience that's wrong, but you just follow the lead of your attorney. You don't even ask the attorney, well, how many times have you overcome the lies of a guardian ad litem? Like, why don't you ask questions? Why don't you have the balls to just ask questions to your own attorney who you pay $200, $300, $400 an hour to? You are the boss. And a lot of you guys, you get punked by your attorney. Your attorney says, stop harassing me, stop talking. No, dumbass, you work for me. You pay a landscaper $30 an hour, and they, like I give an example all the time. You want them to edge your lawn or cut it into a square and put beauty bark around it, and they say, oh, I think a circle is better. You say, no, this is my yard. I want to do it. I want to do it this way. It's your yard. You have to live with the consequences. And then you go to work, you come back, and they put it in a circle and you want it a square. You're going to pay them money? You're going to let them chew you out and say, well, I wanted to do it that way. Just give me my money. That would be insane. Or a mechanic screws up your car. You go back and they say, well, you just have to pay full price again. Like, no, I'm not. You screwed it up. It's worse than it was before. You wouldn't tolerate that. How can you tolerate this bullcrap from lawyers when your kid's life is at stake? So, the thing is, when you go to court, if you don't want to bow down and worship and kiss the butt of a guardian ad litem, and you want to stand up to them, and you tell the court, look, guardian ad litems are not perfectly holy and righteous saints. Look at this guardian ad litem over here in Washington who became a judge. He was having sex with underage male prostitutes and threatening them, and he threatened to kill some of them. That was the rumor around there. Now, he won an appeal to undo or to get a new trial. I don't know what happened with his new trial, but he was shamed and banned and all this other stuff. And then, he also, when he became a judge, he ran against and won against somebody who had been a judge for 10 years. There's lawyers in his family. His sons were lawyers. They could have, snitched on him or even set him up. I don't know. But the fact that it all came out that he did that, and it's funny because he was, when they found him guilty of soliciting an underage prostitute near the courthouse and making violent threats or something like that, he was like yelling at the jury like this is a travesty of justice. So he's saying the system is screwed, and he is the system. So if guardian ad litem are so perfectly righteous and holy just because they got a title guardian ad litem, then how does somebody like this exist? And if somebody like that exists, some racist bully who threatened underage prostitutes, which makes him a pedophile, then if somebody like that can get through as a guardian ad litem, then, you know, the movie, the documentary Divorce Corp, as in corporation, there's a guardian ad litem in there, and he gets his retainer from this woman, like, I need my $6,000 check now on a Friday. And he's sweating and he's demanding the money. And then she gets a call from the bank. This is some lady who got screwed in family court. She calls the bank, or the bank calls her 30 minutes later and says, hey, there's this guy with a $6,000 check, or maybe it's $3,000 or $4,000, but his retainer was like $5,000 or $6,000. It's like, he's sitting here sweating all nervous, and he's, did you write this check? And they were confirming. And she's like, yeah, I did. It turned out he had to do, he hosts or DJ'd or facilitated. He had another alias name where he hosted these leather bondage, gay cocaine parties, and he's a guardian ad litem, recommending to the court the best interests of children. And as of the you know, that movie, that documentary being out, it's the greatest documentary to expose family court. The guy who created it, Joe Sorgi, wanted to change the system, and he quit trying to change the system after a year. That's what I'm talking about, all these punk-ass dudes who come in like, oh, I'm going to change the system. I wrote the guy, and I told him, what you're doing isn't going to work, going to committees and talking to governors and talking to people and going to Washington, D.C. to talk about what you're going to talk about when you decide to talk about it. He said, no, we're going to take the approach that they're doing in, you know, Sweden and Switzerland and other European countries that automatically presume 50-50. I told him, dude, that's not going to work here. You're trying to upend a system that's been in place for 60 to 80 years. He goes, oh, no, we're going to do this. I'm still here, and he's gone. He fell off the face of the earth. Great documentary, but he's a punk-ass little sissy who tucked his tail and ran when he thought he was going to help change the system. That's been going on for 50 years. That's why I'm sick. That's why I did the last previous video. I'm sick and tired of everybody whining and crying and talking about the system, like, and then getting their rocks off. Like, look at the fame I got from exposing the system. You didn't do jack squat. We've known everything you've been talking about for 50 years, you dumbass. When are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? Nothing. You're going to sit in the comfort of your own home after you've gained 100,000 followers because everybody likes to sit and sulk and whine and cry and piss and moan about what's going on. So you go in there and you cite these things about how crazy guardian ad litem are. You know, if you got a parenting evaluator, also Google Seattle Times Stuart Greenberg, Stuart Greenberg, Green and Berg. That was the #1 parenting evaluator in the greater Seattle area for 20 years. He was a sexually deviant pervert. He secretly videotaped women and children in his office bathroom, then videotaped himself enjoying the videos. He was arrested for voyeurism. When he got out on bail, he killed himself and slit his wrist and said, I've destroyed so many lives, I'm sorry. He left a suicide note. That was the #1 parenting evaluator out here. So, on top of your legal right to confront any witnesses against you, these people have a history of going rogue. In my guardian ad litem packet, I cite a lawyer who became a judicial officer who eventually wrote an article for the Bar Association saying how guardian ad litems have gone rogue, and there are so many complaints about them, we created laws in Washington to help put them in check and create checks and balances. You could cite those things, though. I mean, that's not case law in your state, whatever state you're in. But you could say, hey, look at how out of control that they've gotten. We had a scandal out here where guardian ad litem was falsifying records or making false statements in reports in guardianship cases. And that made the regular news. I think they got disbarred and they were a lawyer. If you cite examples of how horrific some of these people, look in your state, Google your state. If you're in Illinois, guardian ad litem, corruption. New York, guardian ad litem, corruption. Parenting evaluator, corruption. Parenting evaluator, suspended, jailed, or whatever. Find examples and say, look, we can't just bow down and just worship them because of a title. CPS, you don't bow down and worship CPS because of a title. They've gotten kids killed under their care. So, just another little tip about using an example of some of the most heinous, reprehensible, psychotic weirdos out there which helps you give reason to the court why you have a right to confront them.